What is going on? Pete Moriarty here. Thanks so much for joining. If you're joining the live, if you're joining the replay or the restream, thanks so much for being here as well. Drop me down a comment either way and say hello. If you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. We have customers and audience all over the world, which is pretty darn cool. And in this session, I'm going to be answering your questions. And so it's open Q&A. Anything you want to post, whether it's business, whether it's technology, whether it's specific to Google Workspace, that's most of the things that we cover here. I'll be happy to answer them for you. So if you want to drop me a question, you can drop it live if you want into the chat. I will be monitoring the chat. Otherwise, if you want to chuck it into the questions and Q&A comments afterwards, then we'll try and get to that as much as possible. But if you are watching the replay and you're not on live and you want to submit a question for next time, for the next Q&A, you can head along to ask.itgenius.com. That's ask.itgenius.com and drop in a question there. And they actually get upvoted. You can see here I've got a number of questions in front of me, and they are on a democratic system of voting. We've got 50 questions at the moment, which is pretty crazy. They seem to be getting more and more popular, these, which is awesome. But you can give a thumbs up to anything that you'd like to have answered, and I'm going to do my best to get to all of these. Now, these streams are getting more and more popular, and so it means that eventually I won't be able to get to every single question. I mean, I'm definitely not going to get to 50 questions today. And so if you do have a burning question and you want me to answer it personally or directly, now is the time. Drop it in, ask.itgenius.com. And if you see any other questions that you'd like as well, give them an upvote. Anyway, but say hello if you're on the live. I'm here and happy to say hello to anyone who's joining. And looks like my sound and my vision and everything are okay. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So today's first question is from Julius, and that is, let me go ahead and open the question up here. I think, can I highlight it? Yes, I can. Okay. So I want to have a shared drive, but hide specific folders and files in that shared drive for specific members. Due to the waterfall system, I know this doesn't work. Everyone who's a member of a shared drive has access to everything. Is there any workaround? So the short answer is no. Unfortunately, in a Google Drive, in a shared drive, once you share a parent folder or a parent shared drive, all of those subfiles and subfolders are automatically shared with that person and with anybody else who's been added to the top level. The challenging thing with that is, for some people, maybe you've got like an HR shared drive, and you want to add access to, maybe one of your HR staff, but you don't want them to access individual staff folders within that HR drive. So maybe it's the, executive contract or executive compensation. Maybe you want to keep that hidden from, payroll staff, right? Or you want to keep that hidden from, your rank and file HR staff who are doing general HR duties or recruitment for everyone in the company. Unfortunately, there's no easy way to do that. And that's a bit of a bummer because it means that you're basically stuck with what Google gives you. We do not have the ability to lock down a subfolder or a parent folder, you might call it. So we're stuck with that. I wish I could give you a better answer than that. This is the top question. I had to cover it. But unfortunately, there is no workaround that I know of. If you know of one, drop it into the comments. That would be great. We've got lots of people that are interested in this one, but I don't have any to share with you right now, unfortunately. Okay, but let's move on to our next one. We'll mark that one as done, and we'll move on. Okay, so the next person asks. Oops, let me just double check. Got to make sure I didn't tick one. Let me say recent. I thought I may have ticked one that. I thought I may have missed one. No, I think we're okay. All right. So next question. I'm in need of a CRM system which works for a used car business exclusively and can be integrated with our homegrown used car DMS system. Okay, I don't know what DMS system is. I'm going to assume that's a dealer management system. And I'm very curious what their homegrown management system is. Our CRM systems, well, our recommendation on CRM systems is pretty broad. There are many options out there for CRM systems, and we've already got a number of videos on the channel on how to choose the right CRM system and how to make your way through the decision-making process when you're searching for technology for your business and you want to make a great decision. So I won't answer this one directly. I'm actually going to direct you to a couple of videos that are already on the channel, which are very useful in this area. So if you head to our channel and you head to the search bar and you just search onto CRM, you'll see here there's a number of videos on choosing the perfect CRM system. And then probably choosing technology is the next search I would do. Here we go. Yeah. So how to effectively choose business technology. What's the best tech tool for my business? Tips for choosing cloud software. Those videos I would recommend you watch as well. What we try and do here is to help educate you, not just on certain technology tools and what their features are, but I try and help business owners to understand the decision-making process of how you can think like a CTO or CIO, Chief Technology or Chief Information Officer. And, our target market are small business owners here and, also IT leaders who are in medium-sized businesses as well. And we find that not everyone has time to be a full-time IT person. If you are, that's great. But most small business owners, who are most of our customers, are busy running and managing the business. They've got finance stuff to deal with. They've got staff issues to deal with. And they don't have the budget to hire a full-time IT person. But also, they don't want to be the IT person all day long themselves. So sometimes the IT tasks will get outsourced or delegated to our company, IT Genius. We're a concierge service and an IT support service, and we're available nearly 24 hours a day, about 16 hours a day. That's APAC and also US time zones. But for others, they need to work out how to do it themselves. And that's where this channel comes in. We're all about helping you to know how to make the right strategic decisions for the business. And then if you want help with some implementation, great, we can help you with that. But we want to help business owners to understand what is the technology strategy that you should be thinking about inside a business. So if you want to choose the CRM, I've got a bunch of frameworks you can go through for that. We are partnered with Copper CRM, which is deeply integrated into Google Workspace. We love Google Workspace, global partner, #1 partner in Australia for Workspace. So we do a lot with Google Workspace. And we chose Copper primarily because of its deep integration with Google Workspace and that whole Google ecosystem. But we also like Copper because it talks to the rest of the kind of small businessy apps that we like using. It's pulling in all your emails automatically from Gmail. It uses AI and connects to people's LinkedIn and pulls in data from LinkedIn and other sources as well to build a rich profile for the customer that you're talking to or conversing with. And they were doing AI before AI was cool. This is like more than 3 years ago. All these features were already built into the ecosystem of Copper CRM. So there's some of the reasons why we like it. If you search CRM, there's lots of videos on that on the channel as well. All right, let's move on to our next question here. All right, I'm going to mark that one as done. Can we move from one reseller to direct with Google? Okay, great question. So if you're a small business owner and you've got Google Workspace and currently you're buying it through a reseller, you can have your account switched back to being billed directly with Google. Now, there may be some reasons that you want to do that, and I'll highlight those, but there are also some quite large disadvantages to that, or let's say some advantages you'll miss out on when working with a partner. Now, why might you want to go back to Google, and how do you actually get it done? Well, if your current partner or current reseller stinks, or they're not giving you much value, completely understand it might be worthwhile to go directly back to Google. If you're a large enterprise, so I'm talking about 100 employees and above, then you can actually get access to some discounts by working with the Google sales team. Depending on where you are in the world, there may or may not be a sales team. If you're in Australia or the UK, or you're in Singapore or Hong Kong, or you're in Manila, or you're in I don't think Manila have a sales team actually. We've got partners there, but no Google sales team. If you're in the US, obviously, you can work directly with Google and they'll give you discounts. But if you're a smaller business, they're less likely to even talk to you because they're looking for big accounts to work with. And they have some sales reps and different sales initiatives from time to time that do target small business owners. But the best thing that you can do if you're a small business is to actually work with a partner. Now, if you want to go from a partner to Google Direct, it's pretty straightforward. You can either go to your partner and request to be released. Now, some may or may not do this, but under the Google partner terms and the reseller terms, they actually have to release you. There's no reason that they can hold you to your or to their reseller account. The partner must release you. So if you've signed up via Wix, or you've signed up via Squarespace, or you've signed up via a IT business of some sort and they're a Google partner, you can go to them and request to be released. Now, if you haven't paid your bill or there's some kind of dispute, they may hold that, but technically they're not supposed to. Now, the other option is you can go to Google and you can request a release. So you go to Google Support, you authenticate with Google Support, and you say, hey, I'm not liking my reseller. I would like to be released, please. And Google will make a submission in the back end to the partner for that account to be released. Now, here's where it gets a little bit into a bit of a gray area. That partner can delay, stall, ask Google not to, tell Google not to release that account back to direct billing with Google. They shouldn't, and without a legitimate reason, it shouldn't happen. But the partner does have the ability to do that because it's a manual process. It's not an automatic process. So the fastest and the easiest way for you to be released from a reseller back to direct billing with Google is that you talk to the reseller and you ask them, hey, can you please release my account? Now, when that happens, when they release an account, what happens is you have a grace period. I think it's 14 days, maybe it's 30 days, where you have the opportunity to reset up your billing again. I don't think you get any free time on the licenses, but you do get the opportunity at least to have time to set up your billing again so you can be properly billed for your Workspace account without losing your service, right? It doesn't stop the service or pause receiving emails in the meantime. It releases your account, and then you get an email that says, hey, you need to set up billing for your account with a grace period. You then need to set up billing for your account to continue. It's a pretty easy process. You just have to punch in a credit card as the admin who's got access to the billing settings in the admin panel, and then you're off to the races. Now, I said that I would explain and outline some of the advantages of working with and sticking with a partner, because there are a number. If you've got a partner that you're working with, they can get you access to deals that for the most part Google won't necessarily give you access to. Now, I said earlier that Google may work with you directly as a sales team and help you get access to pricing, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to give you the best price. See, as partners, we've got access to margin, and we can play with those numbers, sometimes even more than Google are willing to. The other thing that we have is leverage with Google, because we have hundreds, and for us, in our case, thousands of Workspace accounts under our management. We can push Google, and especially with larger customers, we can ask them to give us really, really good deals. Now, sometimes we'll pull off deals for customers that Google would just have no way of getting anywhere near, because we're a commercial business and we want to win a customer's business. So if you're not yet working with a partner, or maybe you are working with a partner and they're not giving you good value right now, well, consider changing to a different partner rather than going with Google directly. If you're interested in working with us, you can click on the link down below, head to itgenius.com and book a consultation with our team. Let them know about your business and where you're at, whether you're a sole operator, a micro business with just a couple of staff, or if you're a large organization with hundreds or even thousands of staff. We help businesses all over the world with their Workspace accounts, and we do this stuff all day, every day. We're bona fide experts, and we'd love to help you get more value out of the platform. Great question. I like that one. I think I've covered that as fully as I can. Okay, let's look at our next question. Is there a way to link a Google Sheet into Google Workspace tasks? Additionally, we have Google Sheets with data, municipality setbacks, material types and sizes, and they come in, etc. Is the Google Sheet the most efficient way to have the team referencing them? Okay, that's quite interesting. So Google have a new feature called Tasks, or they've rebuilt their task system, and I've got to say it's getting pretty darn good. Google Tasks now lives in your apps, in Workspace, pretty much everywhere you're operating. So you'll see it on the sidebar in Gmail, you'll see it alongside your calendar, you're going to see it alongside possibly even Google Drive. I think that sidebar is there, so you've got the option to see your tasks anywhere you're working. The app also works inside of Google Calendar now in the interface online, and there's a pretty decent mobile app as well. Now, personally, for my business tasks, I use Asana for shared tasks with my team. We use that because it's great for project delivery. It lets us do timelines. It lets us do reporting. We can even do time billing inside of there. And there's a whole lot of automations and workflows that you just couldn't get near inside of Tasks. But Google Tasks is pretty good for the absolute basics. If you're just getting started with managing tasks for you and your team, and you want something that's bare bones, you don't have to learn a new app and works right within the Google ecosystem, well, Google Tasks is pretty good for that. I can't say I'd recommend it for anyone who has more than 2 or 3 staff, because by that point, you probably want something a bit more sophisticated. And that's when you're going to look at Asana or Monday or Trello or Podio, or I don't think that exists anymore. What else is there these days? ClickUp, Rike. There's lots of different apps out there, and we've got other videos on the channel helping you to make a good choice with task management. But let's come back to Tasks and how it integrates with the rest of the ecosystem, because there's a couple of interesting things that it does do that are pretty cool within Google Workspace. Now, the first one is chat. And so if I go ahead and open up my chat here, let's find a chat that works. I've got my chat with my PA here, who helps me to do all of my day-to-day organizing of the business and everything that I need help with. And you'll notice that I've got a chat room set up. So this is actually, or they're now called spaces, sorry. I have a chat space set up with Gypsy, who is my PA. And I think I've also got another member in here as well. Who's that? Probably my backup account. Yeah, I've got my backup account and an admin account in here as well. Okay. But effectively, this room is just myself and my PA. Now, let's say I want to set up a task between myself and someone else who's included in this chat space. Well, I can go to the tasks menu here and think of this as like a shared tasks list for people who are sitting inside this inside this chat space. So I can add a space task and I'll just call it test. Here is a task. And if I want to delegate that to someone, I can assign that. I'll add that to Gypsy. She's in the room. I can even add a date and a time when it is due. And you can see there, I've got my task. I can put in a description if I want to put in some details. And what that is going to do is that is going to appear in Gypsy's tasks right across her Google ecosystem. So it means that anywhere that she has tasks, whether she's in her inbox, you can see on the right-hand side, I can open up a panel here and it's going to show me all of my tasks that are assigned to me. There's not really much here at the moment, but if I was to assign that to myself, that's going to pop up in my task list here on the right-hand side. Here we go. See task here, and it's sitting inside the PA tasks Google chat space. All right, that's pretty cool. So that's one way of using tasks. But another way of using tasks, which is also pretty cool, is you can actually use them, I think, inside of documents. We're going to see. This person has asked if they can use them inside a Google Sheet. I don't actually know. I'm pretty sure you can using the new People Chips feature. I'm going to test it in a document first, and then we'll try it in a spreadsheet. So if you want to open up a fresh document, you can just click onto doc.new, and that's going to open up a fresh document for you. And let's say, for example, help me write, tell me a short story. Now, I'm using Google Duet, which is Google's new AI feature. You do need to add this on to your Google account so that you have licensing assigned to your staff to get access to it. But once you do that, Google Duet is going to give me, here we go, in an enchanted forest, blah, 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 blah. Cool. All right, that's my little story. Now, if I want to add a task in here, I might take this and I might say, you know what? I want to mention someone. I want to say Peter. Here we go. Add Peter. Can you please improve this draft? And I'm hoping that's going to give me the option to make that into a task. I think that's just mentioned Peter. Maybe let's see. Here we go. Okay, cool. So it appears I have to actually do at and then the word task. That's going to use Google's Smart Chips feature. So at task, this is the first time I've done this, make this draft better. There we go. Assign it to Peter. They're all the same Peter. And that's due on Friday, right after the TPS reports. Okay, so I'm going to click Assign as a task. Here we go. Assign tasks by Google Docs. The assignee will be notified by email and they will see the tasks in their personal task list. Okay, great. So it's even made a little task here with a checkbox, which is pretty damn impressive, I've got to say. I really do like that. That's very cool. And I bet you if I go back to where was I in my chat, I've got my tasks on the right hand side here. Here we go. I've got my draft task sitting here right next to the document that has been attached there. Very, very cool. Okay, so if I tick this off inside my chat, I assume if I tick this off, it's going to automatically tick it off in the document as well. Oh, look at that. It's ticked it off in the document. So tasks are now floating between documents and your task list live, whether that's sitting inside the dedicated task view inside of Calendar, or if that is in the app on your phone, or you've opened tasks on the sidebar. So pretty useful feature if you want to make use of Google Tasks. Let's have a look what it looks like if we go into our Google Calendar. So I'm going to go ahead and open my Google Calendar here, and I'm going to switch from Calendar View to Task View. You see, it's up here in the right corner, Task View. Okay, so this is going to show me a list of all of my tasks here in one place, which is pretty darn cool. All right, but the question didn't ask this. The question asked, can we do it in a spreadsheet? Without further ado, let's see if we can make this happen in a spreadsheet, huh? So we can go sheet.new, and that's going to open up a fresh spreadsheet for us. Let's zoom in and make it look better. And let's say we have, I mean, this is a pretty rudimentary way of doing things, but let's say we're running a project inside of Sheets. I haven't seen anyone do this in a long time, but I know there are spreadsheet people who love this. And Google Docs, to be honest, is pretty good if you want to use it for task management, because if everyone can see the updates happening in real time, it makes it a pretty darn good tool if you wanted to use it for project management. I don't recommend it, but if you wanted to, you totally could. Okay, so let's go to our task. So let's say person, task, details, I don't know, deadline. That's probably what you'd want to have there, right? And we'd make a frozen row here. Okay, cool. So person would probably be Pete. So I can hit the @ button and I can mention someone here using the Smart People chips, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I've mentioned Peter Moriarty, and that's going to automatically mention, if I hover over Peter, it's going to automatically mention his contact card. Now, I can't say for sure if this works outside my company or not. I'd be curious if someone wanted to test that. But I do know at least within the company, it's going to show you know, all of the details there for that person. Then let's go and create the task. So the task is, I don't know, build a house. Cool. All right. And the details are going to be create a new amazing palace for the founder of IT Genius. Awesome. Great. Okay. And let's put our deadline. Let's make that a date field. We would probably want to do that, right? So date field. The thing I like about switching to a date field is you can just do shorthand, right? So it's the 5th of February today. I can just go 5/2, hit return, boom. It's put in my deadline. And here, let's see if we can create a task. I'd probably say task link. And let's use the magic @ key and see if we can type in the word task. Oh, I don't know if we have a task here. I don't know if this will let us do it. So this is interesting. We have calendar events. We do not appear to have tasks. We have people, we have files, we have finance. That is very, very interesting. Okay. What else could we do? Let's just hit the @ components, rating. We can give it emoji. We can give it drop downs. I don't think we can put tasks linked into a spreadsheet. Imagine that. Okay, we can do it in documents, but it does not appear we can do it in spreadsheets. I would wager a bet that Google are working on this and it will happen pretty soon. If it's already there in your documents, it's probably going to come to Sheets pretty soon. Doesn't look like it worked out this time, guys, but let me know what your workarounds might look like. I would probably drop a link to a document with tasks in here. Might be a little bit messy to do that. Personally, I think this is a win for the argument of just get yourself a project manager tool. Most of them have free versions online. Asana is free for the first 15 people. That's why we love it. Search our channel for Asana to see all of our videos about why Asana is a great choice to help small business owners get started. We don't make any money if you sign up for free. If you sign up and eventually you want to buy licenses, we get a little bit of margin when you eventually grow into a large company. But to be honest, we don't make that much money from Asana. We just love seeing small businesses get organized, and it's a great app that we love to use. and we recommend it as well. All right, I'm going to wrap that question. That was a great one. All right, thanks very much for the person who asked that. We learnt something today. Okay, let's move on to our next question. Going to mark that bad boy as saved. Okay, how do we migrate Google Chat to Microsoft Teams? Anonymous, you've come to the wrong channel to ask that question. Okay, I better check my chat here as well. If you're on the live, please make sure you say hello. Okay, no comments or reactions just yet. All right, I better go and check my restream and check that we're still actually streaming, just to make sure that the interwebs are happy. I do actually run these streams off my Starlink. I'm traveling around Australia in a camper truck, and I use my Starlink for my internet, which is pretty cool. But you know, every now and again, it's not always that happy on the internet side of things. Okay, things seem to be working, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and post up my little question link there for anyone who needs that. Looks like we are live. I don't think we've had any dropouts so far, so fingers crossed all is working okay across our channels. But for whatever reason, if the stream drops out or anything goes wrong, you can always head to our channel and see the uploaded stream afterwards. And if you want to watch it in double time because you don't like my blabbing too much, you can always go and watch it there in double time after the stream is completed. Okay, so next question here. How can we get Google Sheets to share and open hyperlinks to all viewers? This has been initially uploaded through Google Forms. That's very interesting. That have been initially uploaded to Google Forms. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to assume here. I'm going to assume here that someone wants to send responses or send access to a form to people who are submitting responses to the form. And the best way that I can think of that is to share every response on the form, either via a thank you page, which I'll show you how to do, or via an email. I mean, I can't think of a scenario where you would do this, but let's give it a go anyway. Let's see how we do it in Forms. Okay, cool. So we're going to open up a form here. We're going to go form.new, and let's open up a fresh Google form, and this is going to be our demo form. Give it the same name there. Okay, and let's say submit your URL, okay? Oops. To share, and let's make it really obvious that we're submitting a URL to share here. Okay, wonderful, cool. So that's done. Next, we're going to make this a text box, or maybe even, can we make it URL? Maybe. Let's make it a short answer. And we may even be able to set some validation here on the field. Here we go, response validation. Oh, there is a problem with this file. That's interesting. Huh. Google's playing funny with us today. That's okay. Let's go to response validation, and let's say this needs to be URL. There we go. Okay, so it needs to be text and it needs to be URL, and that's not a URL if they try and put something else in there. Okay, and we're going to make it required. And there's a little trick that you can do when you're setting up a form, and that is that you can have the form link to a Google spreadsheet. And so you'll see here, if I click onto responses, there is a button to link to Sheets. So I'm going to click link to Sheets and demo form responses. Yeah, let's say URL responses, just so it's really obvious. We'll create that spreadsheet, and it's going to link it to a spreadsheet for us. Wonderful. Okay, so again, I don't know why you would do this, but let's do it anyway. I mean, this is just going to leak people's personal information. Okay, for starters, let's turn off the responses, including email addresses. Do not collect email addresses. Okay. Restrict to IT Genius and its trusted organizations. Nah, we don't need to do that. Okay, cool. I think I'm happier with this now, because it's not actually going to collect email addresses and then somehow, start distributing that information to other people. That would be weird. Okay, so we have our form. If we want to preview the form, we click the preview button here, and that shows us the preview to this form. So it's just asking one question, which is the URL to share. But let's say we want to share these responses, and we want to share all the URLs, because that's what the person has asked. The person said, want to share and open hyperlinks to all viewers that have initially been uploaded through Google Forms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this responses page and basically make that public. So I'm going to make that accessible to anyone with a link. Just make them view only. It would be inappropriate to make it editable. I'm going to copy the link, and I'm going to put that on the thank you page of the form. So settings, and where's our thank you for responses? Maybe there's some kind of setting that I'm missing here. It must be obvious. Presentation. Have they changed things? Confirmation message. There we go. After submission. Okay, so I would say see results here. Save. So what would happen here is we would submit a URL. Now we set up some validation on the field. So if I tried to submit, here is some text. That's not a URL. Nice. Okay, cool. But if I said itgenius.com, it's going to let me submit it. Wonderful. Okay. And I'm going to submit a few more responses just to test it. Test.com. Submit another response. Google.com. Submit another response. Okay, and then anyone who submitted their piece can click onto see results here. Ta-da! We have reasonably anonymized data, and we have URL to share. There we go. Clickable URLs shared with all of the form participants. Now, here's the thing I'm curious about is, does it show who submitted the form in the version history? I want to see that. Form responses. Okay, so it just says form responses in the revision history, meaning that it's not going to expose any of the individuals' email addresses and therefore identity if you were the one submitting the form. Okay, so I think that's pretty safe. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, clap, clap. That one worked. That's, I've got to say, one of the weirder requests I've got on this channel. But there we go. If you want to know how to have a form share the results with the participants of that form automatically in a public way, this is how you do it. All right, it's going to make that'll make a nice little intro for my team when they cut that up and put it on the channel. Okay, speaking of, if you are not yet subscribed to our channel, please make sure you're subscribed. Give us a thumbs up on all the videos that you watch to let the algorithm know you want to hear more of it. And if you have a request for a particular video that you'd like me to do, well, you can drop it into our ask request here, ask.itgenius.com. Or if you have a more nuanced question or a longer question that you want to answer, have answered, hit me up on socials. Head along to peter.tv and you'll see the link to all my socials there. I've got LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Send me a message and let me know, what you're up to. If you've got some questions, if you're a customer of ours and you want to say hi, drop me a message. I'm active on all those socials and always love engaging with business owners. No matter where you are in the world, we'd love to hear from you. Okay, so our next question is, my business is moving from cPanel to Google Workspace and I currently use Apple Mail to manage all my work accounts. I'd like to preserve my folders and subfolders. Is there a way to do so? Excellent question. Um, let's talk about migrations. There's lots of different ways to migrate different email into your Workspace account. And if you're preparing for a migration and you've got different sources of emails in different places, there's different methods for how you may choose to get that data into your Workspace account and some considerations to make along the way. Let's dig into these a little bit, what some of the considerations are, and how it can help you to navigate if you're planning a migration. So I'm going to go and do a little bit of drawing. I'm going to jump into my Jamboard here. I love my Jamboard. It's so good. I can't believe that Google are killing off the Jamboard. Very, very sad about that. Not much we can do, unfortunately. I have not yet moved to another app or platform. If you've got any recommendations, drop them down in the comments. Would love to hear what you're using. Are you using Miro? Are you using Fig Jam? I love they called it Fig Jam. That's just so cool. But I just wish that Google didn't kill products. I bought a Jamboard, originally $10,000. I would have been very angry if I bought it for 10. I spent $2,000 and got one secondhand on Gumtree. But unfortunately, it's going to be a brick in October this year. So bit of a bummer. Anyway, let's talk about migrations. So when you set up a Google Workspace account, you're going to have a set of mailboxes. Now, I tend to call these buckets of email on this channel, and they're represented by your different users or staff that may be inside your business. Now, if you've got 3 people in the business, let's say you've got Peter here, you've got Bob there, and you've got Sandy over there. Now, you've got 3 mailboxes here, but you're probably going to have emails scattered in other places. So let's say, for example, you've got your Apple Mail over here. Let's say maybe some of your email is sitting in Outlook, potentially. Maybe some of your email is sitting on a POP server. Maybe you even have a Exchange server if you've got a business. Maybe you're coming from the cloud, from Microsoft 365. Basically, what our job is, if we're the person managing the migration, or if you're working with IT Genius to help support you through a migration, is to determine where are all the places that your emails are at the moment. And it's not just where you access your emails day to day, which may be Outlook or it may be Macmail, but it could also be where the data of your emails is actually stored, because it might not actually be in the same place. Maybe you're just downloading the latest 30 days of emails to your device, but all of the archive data is actually sitting on a server somewhere. Maybe they're stored in the cloud and your phone is just accessing them when you're connected to the internet. Maybe you're accessing your emails through a cPanel server and they tend to operate using technology called POP or IMAP. Now, IMAP is where your emails live on the server and they take up server space, but if you're using multiple devices, you see the same set of folders and the same set of emails. Your inbox is your inbox. If you read an email on your phone, it marks it as read on your desktop computer. But you may also be using an application called POP or a protocol called POP. And that protocol means that you're downloading emails. You're deleting them from the server every time you retrieve them, and you're accessing them from your individual devices, meaning that once you read them on your computer, they no longer exist on the server. Now, all of this goes to say that we have to do a cleanup and an archive job, and we've got to find where those emails are, and then we've got to work out the best methodology to get those emails into Google Workspace. And that's why we call it a migration, because we're migrating that data into the Google Workspace ecosystem via a number of different methods. Now, IT Genius are experts at migrations. We've delivered migration projects for literally thousands of companies, for tens of thousands of employees. And if you're interested in someone to take all the pain away, hold your hand, and you don't want to waste a weekend working all this stuff out yourself, well, I'd recommend you get in touch with our team. You can click a link down below to get started. But if you're interested in going it yourself, I want to prepare you for what to look out for when you're working through a migration. Now, let's have a look at some of the different ways that we can migrate mail, because they differ depending on where your mail is sitting right now. Now, if you're using a cloud-based email service or a server-based email service, we do what's called a cloud-to-cloud migration. So we're going to take emails that are sitting in, for example, an Exchange server or a Microsoft 365 server, and effectively we're going to take the emails sitting in the cloud and we're going to migrate them into the Google Workspace mailbox. Now, for each one of those email addresses, you're probably going to have an inbox, an outbox, and a set of folders that you've set up inside your mailbox. We use third-party tools that make sure that those same mailboxes automatically arrive in your individual inboxes so that each one of the user accounts or buckets of email is going to see the same list of emails that it saw as you were using them. Now, if you're using something like Microsoft 365 or Microsoft Exchange, remember that these live in data centers. And so these are hosting your email online in a data center. And if you access them via something like a phone, or you access them, let's put a little phone down here. What does an iPhone look like? I don't know. I'm just going to draw some stuff on it. If you're accessing them via a phone, then you're going to just read what's sitting on the server. Likewise, with Microsoft Exchange, you're going to read what's sitting on the server. Okay, well, that's great. What about if we have something like a POP server on cPanel, or you're just using Apple Mail and you're downloading all of your emails into Apple Mail? Well, in that case, we need to use another tool, and that's what we call a manual migration. So if you're coming from a POP server or you're coming from Apple Mail, most of those emails are actually going to be living on your desktop computer because they've already been downloaded from the server, deleted from the server, and now they just live on your computer. And what in most cases needs to happen is that your inbox, your outbox, and any other folders that you've created have to be manually dragged and dropped up to your online folders inside the Google ecosystem. Now, it's still possible to go through this process and retain every single one of your emails. That works fine. It's just a more manual process when you're dragging and dropping from Apple Mail to get them uploaded. Now, is it a good idea to do that? Hell yes, it is. You want to make sure that you have every one of your emails, every piece of your business data uploaded and into the Google ecosystem. The reason for that is you don't want to accidentally have a computer run out of hard drive space and start losing files, or you lose it or it gets broken, or something happens, because things do happen with tech, and therefore have a data loss event. We don't want to lose any emails, especially if we're a business owner and a customer might call you 2 or 3 years from now and say, hey, I'm not happy with what you delivered to me and I want to sue you. We need to keep our records, and uploading them all into Google Workspace means that you've got them in a safe place. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other ways that we can migrate emails up. I'm going to open my iPad here again so I can keep drawing. It's gone to sleep on me. I don't know how do I turn off my little battery thing. Let me find that. Battery. There we are. Okay. So let's talk about it if we are using Outlook, because Outlook is a special case. Now, we still need to upload from Outlook to the cloud, but there is a special tool that we can use for that, which is called, and it may have changed by now, Google Workspace Sync for Microsoft Outlook. Now, it used to be called Gazmo because it was Google Apps Sync, right? Now it's Google Workspace Sync. And what that tool does is it connects into your Outlook, it sucks all the email up, and then it automatically sends that email into your Google Workspace mailbox. Now, you're going to have to run that individually for each mailbox because it takes time for each individual mailbox to take that user's email from Outlook and put it up online into the online version of that person's mailbox. Now, the great thing about Google Workspace is if you've got everything uploaded into the cloud, it's accessible from everywhere. Whether you still use Outlook or Mac Mail, I don't recommend it, but if you were to still use Outlook or Mac Mail, or if you're using your phone, or if you're using Google Online in the browser, which is our strong recommendation, you can run a search and find any email from any point in time in your Google Workspace account. It's so easy to run a search in the browser and have Google sift through years, and in my case, even decades of email, and immediately find the email that you're looking for. Now, if you're wondering, will it ever slow down? Will anything ever go wrong with it? Will it start to perform slowly if I've got too many emails in there. Let me show you a pretty cool demo of exactly what it looks like in my own mailbox. Now, if I open up my Gmail, I've got over 10 years of data sitting inside here. And I've actually hardly deleted a single email in over a decade, now 15 years actually of running my business. And you can see here that if I choose to open up my storage, which, where is my storage? I think they've moved it. There used to be a little storage. Maybe I got to click there. Okay, cool. Is it there? No, it's still not there. Where's my email storage? Okay, maybe I've got to open it up in my account. All right, I've opened my Google account here, and no, I still can't find it. Storage.google.com. I'm going to try that. That can't be reached. Okay, it's in Google Drive. I'm going to go there. Okay, cool. So inside my Google Drive, you will see a storage button. And this is going to show me how much storage I'm using. And in my Gmail account, I have 78 gigabytes of email, which is just absolutely crazy. Yet, inside my inbox, if I choose to search for an email all the way back in 2011, boom, instantly going to bring up every single one of my emails from many, many, many years ago. And the thing that I love about this is it's all accessible from any browser or any computer that I access, even though there are literally 610,000 emails in my mailbox right now. It's just crazy how good email service is, how good Gmail service is. Let me try that again. It's just crazy how good Gmail service is at displaying and giving you access to your emails, no matter how old they are. And something like Microsoft just can't beat it. So we've wrapped up the different methods for managing a migration and looking at the different ways that you can approach migrating mail from different business sources, whether you're going cloud to cloud because your emails are already in a server or they're online with Office 365, whether you're doing a manual drag and drop with Apple Mail, which is a bit of a pain and yes, time consuming, but it makes sure that all of your emails are eventually backed up, or if you're using one of Google's automated migration tools from Google Workspace, to Google Workspace from Microsoft Outlook, then you've got all bases covered with your migration. If you're interested in help with the migration, click on the link down below this video and you'll be able to get in touch with our team. We do migrations all day long, and we have packages from sole operators to mid-sized small businesses right up to large organizations that are looking to move hundreds or even thousands of users. But even if you're a sole trader and you're just a single operator, we've got a discounted plan for you. Have a chat with our team. Click on the link down below and we'll see you there. Okay, great question. Love that one. Let's move on to our next question. Now, apparently we're live on Twitter, which is pretty cool, or X, sorry. I'm curious to see what that actually looks like, because this is the first time I've tried. Going live. All right, let's go to my homepage. I can't say I've used Twitter all that much. Here we go, live. 0 viewers. It looks like it's a bit delayed, but I'm hoping it's working. 4 people have watched it so far. There we go. Okay, it's working. We're going to go for live. We're going to go for liveception. I'm going to eventually see my Twitter pop up on that page there, which is going to be pretty funny. Oh, there we go. There's another Peter. Oh, there we go, into the matrix. All right. So bringing it back here. By the way, if you want to say hi on Twitter, I'm probably going to be pretty slow to respond there. So I recommend you say hi on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, because I'm seldom on Twitter. Okay. Let's have another look at our next question here. And if you're watching along for the first time, please make sure you say hello. Drop me a comment. Let me know if you've got any live questions you want me to cover. You can drop them into the comments. I will see most of those. I think most platforms are sending comments over here. If not, you can just drop me a message in ask.itgenius.com and I'll pick it up next time. Okay, so hi dear, hello dear. I have a space in Google Chat, but as a space manager, I can't find out add and remove restrictions so anyone can delete members in my space. Please guide us. How can I do that? Okay, that's an interesting question. Add and remove restriction. Now, if you set up a space, let's have a look at this. Let's set up a space here, shall we? Okay, so let's make ourselves a little testy space. Google gives you a number of options to create specialized spaces inside of Google Chat. And if you've not yet used spaces, think of spaces like your Slack alternative in the Google world. Now, previously it was pretty darn average, I've got to say that, but Google have rewritten it. They've released lots more features to make it a lot more Slack-esque for now, which is great. And the thing that I love about Google Chat is because it's so deeply integrated into the rest of the Google ecosystem. If you're using Messenger or WhatsApp or Slack still for your business communication, I think that's a bit dumb because Google Chat has got pretty much everything you need, and they just released voice notes inside of chat, which personally I'm against in a business setting, but I'm sure people were banging down the door because everyone seems to love voice notes these days. I hate them unless you can speed them up. But anyway, that's another story for another day. Let's jump into our space here, and I want to show you the different options that we have for restricting access inside a space to users. So I'm going to call it my little test spacey space. It's getting to that point in the stream now. All right. And here is another test space I'm creating. Okay, great. So first up, we want to choose whether this is going to be locked down just to IT Genius or just to our organization, or, a bit confusing, the restricted option means that only the people and groups added can join. But the restricted option is the one that lets you expose it to people outside the company, which is a bit confusing. So if you want to have guests that are outside your business, you need to use restricted. If not, if you want to lock it down just to your company, IT Genius. Now, I don't believe you can change this after it's been created. There's a few settings here that have to be set the first time you create it. So just be mindful of that. Okay, cool. So advanced settings here is where we allow people outside the organization to join if we wish. Remember, we've got to have it on restricted to ungray that tick box. And there's another option here, only space managers can post. Now, I like the only space managers can post setting because what that does is it makes effectively an announcement group. It means that space is only available for people to post in for announcements, and people can emoji react. I don't believe they can start a thread under posts. I haven't tested that one yet. Maybe we'll test that in a moment. But it basically restricts you to only emoji reacting. But that's not what we're working on right now. We'll come back to that one. So right now we want to have a look at, how can we restrict people from being added or removed from a space? And so I'm going to create a space with my company having access. I'm not going to allow people outside the organization because that just complicates things. And I'm going to go ahead and create my test space. It's going to take me straight into the space. All right, wonderful. Now I've got the space created. I'm going to go to my space settings. And you can see here, there's a few options here. Now, Google have recently created this feature called Space Managers. And if you go to permissions here, we've got some permissions that we can set for Space Managers. If we go to the individual members, the first person that joins is automatically the Space Manager. But if I go ahead and I add some people, like I'm going to add Gypsy here, I'm going to add Hello here, let's add them in. They will not be Space Managers by default once I've added those in to the membership of the space. Okay, so I've created the membership of the space now. If I wanted to designate someone as a space manager, I just click on their name and make them a space manager, but we don't want that, do we? No. Okay, now let's go into space settings and let's have a look at some of the settings that we have available. So here we go. This is a good one. I can say that space managers are the only people who can modify the space details. Okay, well, that's probably a good one to switch on because if I don't want anyone to change the settings, I want to lock this one down to space managers only. Who can mention everyone? Yeah, I don't mind if the team do that. Who can manage apps? Yeah, I don't mind if the team do that. Who can do webhooks? Yeah, maybe space managers only. Okay, let's go ahead and click Save. Okay, now here's an important setting right up the top. Who can manage members and groups? Meaning, who can allow people to join or stop people from joining? Ta-da! Space managers only. So what this setting should do, is restrict anyone who is not a space manager from adding or removing people to the group. Now, we should probably triple check this. I'm going to triple check the help guide just to be absolutely sure. And what's that? What's that one called? Sorry. Who can manage members and groups? Manage. Oops. Space manager role. Okay, I can only assume, it's not saying it directly here, I can only assume that if you've ticked that box, that person is not allowed to add or remove anyone from the space. Now, I don't have a test account signed in, so I'm gonna leave that one as it is, and we're gonna have my tech team triple check that just in case it's not correct. We'll provide a correction if that's the case. Okay, so that's all you need to do. That should be all you need to do. You can see here the permissions are set up as they need to be, the access is set up as it needs to be. Details, blah, 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 blah. Apps and integrations is where you add apps and stuff. We've got other videos on chat if you want to go and check them out on the channel. Just head to IT Genius. Very simple. Go to our channel, hit the search button and search for chat. And you'll see here we've got a number of videos on chat, on how to get the most out of chat. Okay, excellent. So we've covered that, but I was curious about one more thing as we were setting this up. And that was, if we create a space and we make it a announcements space, can people actually create a thread from an announcement? Let's test that. Announcements space. Now, if you were using this, you probably want to have it private to your company only. But let's say that only space managers can post in this one. Let's go ahead and I'm going to click the learn more. Let's go ahead and create this test space. Here is my announcement post. And we're not going to be able to test this, are we? Because I'm signed in with this account. I don't have it. I don't have another test account set up to sign into. To create announcements. Fuck it. Let's sign in. Let's sign in with another account. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Now let's find my... Oh. Someone appears to have changed the password on me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into this one. And if I can't, we might have to call it a day, but that's okay. Let's see, what other accounts do I have access to? Try our admin account. Okay, now it's asking me for a Google Authenticator code. Of course. Of course, of course, of course. All right, we are in. We are in. We are in. Oh, and it just dropped me out. There we go, admin. Do not have access to Google Chat. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. This account is in an organizational unit that does not give it access to chat. See, that's the first rule of demos is you never do demos because they always break. All right, we're gonna assume that one works. I think we've answered that one enough. Thank you for the question. That was anonymous. I think that one was. Thanks very much for the question. That was a good one. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Starting to lose a little bit of energy here, guys. I think I'm going to take one more question, and then I'm going to wrap this one up. But you can join us again sometime in the future for another stream. I think we're going to schedule them a bit better in advance in the future. Okay. Cool. My Chromebook reached end of life October 21. I use Guardio for internet safety. I'm a senior on a fixed budget who does not like to toss perfectly working equipment. Can I upgrade my OS? I heard some others can be changed to Chromebook OS, but no info on how to install an updated OS. Okay, Sherry, I'm not sure if you can flash an old Chromebook with Chrome OS Flex, but you can darn well give it a try. Head to Chrome OS Flex. You'll find the page and follow the instructions. I don't know about that one. That's a darn good question. I haven't tried that one myself. Sorry, I cannot be more help. But good question. Okay. Do you provide your team with laptops, or do they use their own? How do you manage privacy and data protection? How do you protect financial information in PDFs that may be stored in Google Drive? Yeah, great question there. Let me see what. Do we give anything to our team on their work anniversaries? Yes. They get gifts. They get a holiday if they work for us for 3 years. We send them away for the weekend. They get a cash bonus, I think, 1 year. Yeah, lots of cool things we do there. Okay. How do I keep payments separate for my different clients between my Google account? Oh, okay, cool. I covered this one on the last stream. That's a dumb idea. If you're reselling Google Workspace, I'm sure it is against the terms, number one. But number two, there's no way to do multiple billing accounts within one Google Workspace account. So yeah, you just can't really do that. Okay, good day, mate. Love it. What kind of application will you use for marketing to get clients for massage? That's a good question. Oh, geez. I would probably. This is a little off topic because we try and keep the tech here and not pure marketing. But I've read the question, so I may as well answer it now. I would say you're probably looking at advertisement and local marketing, and whether that's organic via getting lots of 5-star reviews on your Google Maps page so it ranks highly. That's one way. Or if you want to actually pay to appear in search results when people search for massage in your city, yeah, I'd most likely be looking to, and I'm not a marketing expert, nor am I a marketing consultant, but I'd most likely be looking to, build your pipeline with customers coming to you via your local, it's called local area marketing, but your Google My Business page. Okay. How do we zap post in LinkedIn to our Google Business post? I see that Zapier doesn't support this. Do you have any ideas? Maybe another tool? Unfortunately, to my knowledge, Google do not have an API for their Google, Google My Business. And in that case, there may be some kind of hacks or scripts that you could use as a workaround. I'm sure there'd be like someone who's created a Python script or something like that might make it work. The problem with those is you need to maintain them. They're a bit hacky and they break. And unless you're an IT person who really wants to spend the time maintaining something like that, it's probably better just to cut and paste, to be completely honest. Nothing that I know of will interface with Google My Business, which is a bit dumb. It's a bit dumb. I think more people might use it if they could connect it to Hootsuite or something that lets you automate that. Okay, that's all, folks. I'm going to finish this one here. I will see you on the next one. If you're interested in some help with your Google Workspace account, if you want a free little checkup just chat to our team, book in a free consultation. Head to the link below or head to itgenius.com, and our team will be very happy to book a time with you. We operate in Asia Pacific and also US time zones. If you're in Europe and you don't mind working in your evening, that's great. We'll be available for you. Unfortunately, we're not yet 24 hours, but we are close. But for North America, South America as well, all of the Americas, if you're in the Asia Pacific time zone as well, we are available. And we would love to have you as a customer. We have customers all over the world in 15 countries, which is pretty darn crazy. And if you're interested in maximizing your Google Workspace, we call it making Google Workspace your Google Workhorse. If you want to do that, our team are the best in the business at helping you get that done. And we specialize in small and medium-sized businesses. So whether you're a sole trader, a small team, or even a medium to large size organization, we're happy to help you out with everything in the Google world. And if you want some help with CRM systems or task management and the other kind of periphery apps for the Google ecosystem, we can help you with those too. All right, I'll bid you adieu, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Cheers.